There are many things to consider when choosing a new truck. You need to consider everything from how many axles, whether they are with traction or rotatable, horsepower, type of tires, interior equipment, and much more. But it must also be decided whether it should be with manual gear or automatic gear. How much impact does it have on fuel economy, driving comfort, and maintenance? And what is really best? This and more you'll get the answer to in this video. But how does a transmission work? A truck transmission takes the engine's rotating force, navigates through a complex gear mechanism, and turns the drive wheels to get tons of cargo moving. Manual. With a manual transmission, the driver has to select the proper gear and engage or disengage the clutch. The transmission uses a flywheel, pressure plate, and clutch to engage and disengage the engine from the transmission. The flywheel and pressure plate are connected to the engine. The clutch is sandwiched between them and is splined to the transmission input shaft. The term push in the clutch means to release the pressure plate, which disengages the clutch from the engine. Every time you make a shift, you have to push in the clutch first. Automatic. Automatic transmissions don't use clutches. Instead, the automatic transmission relies on a torque converter to change gears automatically. The torque converter connects the engine to the transmission and uses pressurized fluid to transfer power to the gears. Many trucks brands have different gear programs which allow you to adapt the gear shift to, for example, maneuvering, economy driving, off-road, etc. Pros and cons with manual gear. This type of transmission, as the word suggests, is manual, meaning you have to shift between the gears, choosing the right gear using a clutch pedal. Manual gears on a truck often have 12 to 24 gears with a split range system where you split the gear into high and low gears. This type of gear is more often cheap and requires a more skilled truck driver, as shifts may vary depending on the cargo you are driving with, as well as the terrain. There are also dual clutch types where you only have to put the truck in gear and then it will switch itself until you make a stop. The first thing a guy who drives manual gear will say when you mention automatic gear is, automatics are for people who don't know how to drive a truck. And while there is some truth to that, technology is here to increase comfort and improve our standards. You can also do the dishes yourself by hand, but it is somewhat easier to put them in a dishwasher. Pros and cons with automatic gear. Automatic gear in trucks is nothing new. Volvo introduced the I-Shift all the way back in 2002, and today all truck brands offer automatic solutions. This type of transmission is more efficient, and there is no clutch. This is because the truck will switch between gears itself, leaving you to focus mainly on the road. The computer in the truck is constantly measuring everything from speed, weight, temperature, and the road to choose the best gear at the exact time, and is able to switch between gears in an instant. This ensures a reliable and accurate gear shift every time, which minimizes wear on the gearbox. Also, fuel economy is better on an automatic gearbox as it can save you for 1 to 3% of fuel, which is a considerable amount over the course of a year. When the truck is switching gears for you, it is always securing you are in the right gear, leaving you with full focus on the road ahead, giving you more control and overview, which can ultimately help to avoid an accident. The downside of this is that because the truck does all the work, you really just have to keep the truck driving straight, which can make one get tired after many hours of driving, and so thereby not paying attention to the road. Here, equipment such as lane guard, adaptive cruise control, and attention guard are usable, which helps the driver to stay on the road, as well as give notice in the display if the driver loses focus. So, to sum it up, here are the pros and cons between the two transmission types. You cannot argue that the technology in the trucks has become so good and precise that it can shift gears faster, better, and more effectively than a human. And there is still constant development on these technologies, which make the gear changes even better. You might say that you sometimes come out for special driving, for example, in snow or slippery roads, where manual transmission is necessary. Just remember that you can actually always switch your automatic gearbox to manual and decide for yourself when it shifts. All truck brands are selling less and less trucks with manual gears, and a decade from now, there might not be many manual gears left, leaving us with the 1% left who just won't switch to automatic, and the remaining 99% choosing automatic. What are your thoughts about manual versus automatic, and what do you drive? Leave a comment below and let us know. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe for much more.